My name is Brenda Hughes. I am an Army brat, and so I've traveled back and forth overseas through the course of growing up. Met my husband, Buzzy, in Austin, and we got married in 1990. In 1990. We have 4 children that are all grown. They live here, and he and I share 15 grandchildren. So we've been here now for 33 years, and we own and operate Buzzy's Barbecue here in Kerrville, Texas. And we love our community. We moved here. Buzzy was born and raised here, but we're here to stay. Well, I'm running to finish what I started, because you have to understand that my motives for getting on City Council back in 2020 were overshadowed by misinformation. And so when I got into council in 2020, I had a perception about our city that was very concerning to me. And then when I got in and found out that I had been misled, then I had to ask God, why am I here? Because the city is obviously running great. They don't need me, so why am I here? And it always came back to safety and security. And so that's where my focus has been. So my heart is with law enforcement, first responders, and our frontline workers. And I just want to be sure that our community is safe for all the residents who live here. So that's where the focus has been. Well, because my focus has been safety and security, what I've been able to do, number one, our officers did not have tasers. I was able to get them that. They did not have a sophisticated body cam system. I was able to get them that. They did not have a canine unit, and I was able to help facilitate that. And then, of course, they had never had, I've lived here for 33 years, and they have never had a purpose-built facility, a place where they could actually do their job efficiently and effectively. And so I advocated for the public safety complex, and that's probably what I'm most proud of, is that I was able to get that across the finish line. It went before the voters. And what I did with that old bus station that they use as their office, I not only toured it several times, but anybody that was torn between whether or not they felt they needed a new facility or could manage with what they had, I took them on tours to see exactly what they were working with. And because of those efforts, we were able to get that bond package passed, and they will be enjoying a new custom-built facility in hopefully summer of 2025. And I would like to be there to cut the ribbon on that facility. Yes, the facility will support not only our law enforcement personnel, but our fire admin. And that, you have to understand, they've been in a rented building. The taxpayers have been paying rent on a building for our fire department admin for years. It also is going to house our IT department, and 75% of what IT does for the city is directly in line with our law enforcement. So it makes sense that they be located there with them. And then our municipal court. So it kind of puts everything in one nice little, I don't want to call it a compound, but it is a complex. And then we've got a group set up that's going to incorporate a memorial into that facility, and it's just something that our community can truly be proud of. Obviously, pressing is based on perception. Excuse me. And what's pressing to me may not be pressing to you. But I know that, a funny little story, well, I say funny, but it was rather shocking, was I was at an adoption event, and we were adopting out animals, and we do background checks on the people that we adopt animals to. And when I did a background check, this person came up on Interpol as one of the most wanted for organized terrorism. And they have a Kerrville address. So what's pressing to me is making sure that our law enforcement have the tools they need to keep our community safe. Obviously, attainable housing is huge, okay? Because back in 1993, when I moved here, we had a housing shortage. I mean, my husband and I could not find a rent house in 1993. In fact, we had to go to a real estate company and beg an owner who was selling a house to allow us to lease it for a year under the condition that we purchased it once we had lived here for a year and became more established and got our business up and running and that sort of thing. So attainable housing has always been a problem for Kerrville. And we're doing what we can to keep, not only to bring frontline workers, healthcare workers, first responders, teachers to our community, but to keep them here. And for many of them, they did not see the opportunity for home ownership here, and that's what we're trying to meet. So, and then of course, if we can bring homes here to Kerrville that are attainable for our workers, then those that are new to the workforce, that are fresh out of high school or starting classes at Schreiner University, and they don't want to live in the dorm, well, then it opens up apartment complex or apartment living for them, which right now is being used to house our teachers and our our first responders. So it's that domino effect, and all we're trying to do is fill a need. The need was highlighted during the course of implementing our 2050 plan, and it's kind of the Bible that we use as council to make sure that we are meeting the demands that our community set for us when they said, this is what we want, and we're looking at you to get this for us, and that's what we're doing.
That's perfect. Very well said.
Well, for starters, Kerrville's been growing since the mid-1800s, okay? There's also legislation that kind of restricts how much control we have over growth. There's private property rights, and let me tell you, if I own 100 acres between here and Centerpoint, and I want to sell that 100 acres to somebody who wants to develop it and sell it as lots, I have the right to do that. Now, how do we protect our water resources? Well, we are kind of a model community for being proactive and not reactive, which is why we have, almost 900 gallons of water, 900 million gallons of water stored, and we've got our ASR wells and our reclamation ponds. And it's what allows us, those reclamation ponds are what allows us to have the green grass for the golf courses, and the green fields at the sports complex, So our community by nature is conservation driven, which is why we're actively only using about 23% of what we're allowed to use. So that shows me how healthy we are water-wise. Now, yes, we're going to need to conserve, but I will tell you that over the course of the last 33 years, I've seen many a drought come through Kerrville. But we've done a great job at preparing for the future and making sure that we have a 50-year water plan that services future generations. Well, okay, first of all, the amount of taxes that residents pay is based on your appraisals, okay? And what the city is very good at doing is trying to tighten the belt and keep that tax rate either at the same rate it was or lower. And that's the only thing that we have the power to do. We cannot control appraisals. And let me tell you, when I bought my building here, it was appraised, at $156,000. It's now over $700,000. So I can't stop that. Believe me, I would love to. But the bottom line is we're conscious of the impact that appraisals have on all of us. And the only thing we can do is try and level the playing field by keeping that rate as low as we possibly can. And what was the other part of your question?
The city's budget and financial position in general with that?
Well, it's always been great. And the thing about running a city is you can't stash cash and pay for stuff in cash, because the projects and infrastructure, those needs and those costs are so high, you have no choice but to borrow, okay? And so the good thing that I can say about that is that our debt is serviced by, we have water revenues, we have sales tax revenues, so we're in a very, very healthy position to make sure that our debt stays under control. We've got a $112 million water infrastructure problem, okay? But what do how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So we're gonna try and take that water infrastructure project, take it in segments, do a little at a time. We may have to borrow for each and every segment that we do, but it's how you run a city. Well, this is what I tell people. We're in a war of facts versus fear, okay? And that's the bottom line. And when I was fearful, I went and got the facts. And that's what I encourage my neighbors to do. And the one fact that I will tell you is that the complex that's fixing to be built, in no way is it a Taj Mahal. And our officers did not ask for a Taj Mahal. They asked for the tools they need to do their job. And that's what they're getting. And I want to emphasize that. So get the facts. If you hear something out there, rather than to believe what you hear, go to the source, go to the right people. Our city staff, I would put them up against anybody in the state. They are responsive, they're knowledgeable, they're accessible, and they're easy to do business with. So if you have a question about our water, or if you have a question about our finances, you go talk to the people who run our departments, and they have an open door policy. And that's where you get the facts, not off social media and not from people knocking on your door. They're great. I mean, they make my job easy. I mean, and the thing is, when and they say this, that when you first get on council, it's like trying to drink water from a fire hose. And it's truly the truth, because you're trying to absorb so much information that first term, you're just kind of flying by the seat of your pants. And then your second term, you're kind of going, oh, this is starting to click. Now I'm kind of getting it, and then you start making a difference. You get a few stop signs put in designated areas so that children are protected, and you start feeling not necessarily empowered, but like you're making a difference for your community. And so the first thing I ever asked when I got on council was if I could get the speed limit reduced on 173. Okay, because I'd had some people, message me and say, they're flying down 173. And it took me a year to get that accomplished. And I only got the speed limit dropped 5 miles an hour. Because unbeknownst to me, that's a text dot decision. I have nothing to do with that. I can advocate, I can beg, I can do all that stuff. But you do a lot of learning, and staff they're impeccable. I can go to them for anything. They're always honest with me, even sometimes when I don't want to hear the truth. They will tell it to me. So I respect them, and they make my job easy. This is our town, and this is our future. And it's up to all of us to be able to live in harmony with one another and grow, because growth is coming. Grow it responsibly, taking everybody's feelings into consideration, but doing what is best for Kerrville as a whole. And if you don't vote, then you're not represented. So, it's your God-given right and duty. And, if you don't vote, then you can't really complain. Well, okay, I've got my bio, all the stuff I'm involved with, all my boards, all my nonprofits, all that stuff. It's all on the website at brenda2024.com. My email is on there. You can always reach me. My phone number's on there. And just, if you have any questions, come to me directly and I'll give you the answers, or I will direct you where you can get the facts.